Here's our top story.
KTAR News, 92.3 FM, Arizona's news station.
Retired Peoria police officer and Army veteran Pat Shearer is the man that Jamie just mentioned, who left his tranquil retirement in Strawberry last week to travel to Ukraine in order to help the country and the people he fell in love with during an earlier visit. We talked with Pat on Monday, and Pat, I hope you're being safe. Thanks for joining us again. When we talked last, you'd been shuttling refugees from the border in Poland to bus stations and spots further into the country, and that you told us you'd been in Ukraine a couple of times, but now you're making plans to head in for the duration, and I'm sure you've heard some harrowing stories from the people that you've helped. Can you share some of that so we can get a sense of what it's like there?
I'm in Poland now. I've been everywhere along the border, 5 different border crossings, and including in Slovakia. I've transported so many people. I can't count. And of course, it's just a drop in the bucket compared to what's out there, and so many people that are helping. And the people that I have transported, the majority, in fact, 99%, have been women and children. They all have a story to tell. I don't necessarily ask them, but some of them just start talking and tell me some of the things that are going on there.
You were sharing with me about one woman, a 55-year-old woman, and her elderly mother who had to take extreme measures to get out.
Yeah, she actually her mother's 75, and she told me that. And it's kind of tough, but she said that she's had to kill for the second time to protect her home and her family. She had a home when the Russians first invaded down in the Donbass or region, and she said that she had to kill a Russian soldier there, and that this last week she ended up having to kill another one.
Unbelievable.
And it's obviously really hard on her.
I can't imagine. Have you been hearing about many civilians being fired upon? Because, Russia denies that that's happening, but just about everybody else is telling us that's the case.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The majority are saying that areas were bombed or missiles, or mortar fire or something. My friend Max, one of them that I transported, the only male that I've transported actually, showed me a picture of his car that was hit by, I'm assuming it was an RPG, the way he was motioning and describing it. I am assuming from seeing the pictures of the car that he wasn't in it when it happened, but I know that he was actually engaged in the fighting and stuff and was being shot at. But one young lady that I had, she, I'm guessing in her late teens, early 20s, said that she was alone in Kyiv and tried to coax friends of hers that also lived in her apartment building to leave with her because the building next door had been shelled, and the people were just too afraid, and they were just hiding in their homes with little or no food, and she just ran to the underground and spent a couple nights sleeping there in the subway on the concrete, and eventually it took her 7 hours to reach her mother's home, and then again another 2 days for her and her mother to get to the border. Just stories like that are just the kids talking about how they were happy their house hasn't blown up yet. But they were sad because their dad was still there and had to fight and couldn't leave.
How are you communicating with them?
Well, a lot of them will say they don't speak much English, but they speak a lot more than what you would think. Many of them, anyways. But the translation app on my phone works wonders, and my friend who is still hiding out in Lviv. His name is Eugene, and I've been calling him and using him as my translator as we're driving along.
Wow.
So I've been using everything I can to try to communicate with them and at least ask if there's anything they need or any way that I can help them as I'm driving them. But I've driven all over now.
We're talking with Pat Shearer, who's a retired Peoria police officer, an Army veteran who left his home in Strawberry, Arizona to just go and help in Eastern Europe and in Ukraine. And you told Jamie this morning that you've been in contact with a Russian friend who wants to let everybody know how the Russian people feel about this. What did he tell you?
Yeah, it's very sad. It's a friend that had actually been up to Strawberry and stayed with me for a week. And she lives in Moscow. And she sent me an email or a text basically saying that she was so sorry for what was going on, that she basically felt embarrassed for being being Russian, and she didn't want me to hate her for being Russian, that she and the people that she knows are totally against this, and then she pretty much ended with, I'm sorry, we will probably never see each other again. And wow. She's one of a couple dozen friends of mine that are from Russia or still living in Russia, and they've all told me that the Russian people are not behind this, that they don't want this to happen. They have family in Ukraine, that they see the Ukrainian people as family, and this is not something that they want.
That's heartbreaking.
And I let her know that we don't blame them, and the Ukrainian people that I have talked to say they do not blame the Russian people. That this is all
Putin,
on Putin.
Yeah. All right, Pat. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Be safe. Thanks for what you're doing. And we look forward to talking to you again very soon.